date. Okay, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone. Happy you're able to join us today. Today is November the 7th, 2021, and it is 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. And I applaud you all for joining us. I know that there's so many other things that you could be doing with your time, but you've taken the time to pause and gather some information that could be useful to you and maybe to someone that you care about. Now, if my signal starts to get disruptive, just let me know, because I've been having signal problems here at this location. All right, so if it's not consistent and smooth, just let me know. Okay, I may turn the video off to improve the quality a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. But this meeting is sponsored by the Healthcare Support Association of America, and we're connected very closely with other organizations like Engage Global and America's Bioscience Corporation and other doctors and professionals who give us support. They formulate products and guide us and give us consultation and offer recommendations and protocols that we can add to our natural health efforts. The goal here is for this meeting not to be considered a substitute for a visit to your primary healthcare professional. In fact, we strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. I'm not a medical doctor and don't ascribe to be one. I am a researcher. That's what I do. I dig up information that is publicly available for anyone, and I attempt to serve it up in such a way that all of us can potentially benefit from it and take this information into consideration when making decisions about our health and well-being. So that having been said, today we're going to talk a little bit about heart disease. But before we can even talk about heart disease, well, that's not true. I am going to tell you a little bit about heart disease first. Let me just show you something else that gives a little bit of a backdrop when it comes to heart disease. Last week we talked, or the week before, we talked a lot about Dr. Thomas Levy. And he demonstrated for us the connection between our oral health and almost every disease in the human body. We are more than 2/3 bacteria. 2/3 bacteria. We're primarily more bacteria than we are human. And as a result, most of the bacteria that resides in our mouth is directly connected to our lymphatic system. So if we have an infection in some way, that can actually be distributed throughout the body without us being aware of it. The majority of things like breast cancer and other diseases actually are linked back to our poor oral health. In his book, he gives some statistics here as far as heart disease is concerned. You notice what it says there? It's almost mind-numbing when you think about the prevalence of cardiovascular and heart disease. Now, with regard to Americans that don't have diabetes, it's about 1 out of 6. Those with diabetes, the number goes up to 2 out of 3. So imagine that. More than 2/3 of people in the United States with diabetes have some form of cardiovascular disease. Some scientists even believe that the name, the diabetes and heart disease, should be considered the same disease. And so it's almost mind-boggling to think about it. The Center for Disease Control says that 1 in 4 deaths in the United States is caused by heart disease. Every single year, 610,000 people die from heart disease. Now, that number rivals the number of people who've died from the pandemic, the coronavirus. And heart disease is still by far the #1 cause of death in the United States. And it's only with the coronavirus now that the number has been rivaled by something other than heart disease. So it is a serious matter. But besides the bacteria in our mouth and infection that could cause or contribute to heart disease in some way, there's so many other things that can contribute to the problem. We talk a lot about free radicals here. Well, free radicals can come into our body from any number of sources. It comes from the air that we breathe. It comes through the water that we drink. And do not kid yourself, even bottled water has pollutants in it. In fact, they've done some recent studies indicating that the types of things There's other chemicals in the water, plastic bottles, bottled water that we are drinking, even beyond bisphenol A or BPA. There's other known carcinogens in the water that is creating all kinds of problems as a source of free radicals in our body. Then, of course, the food that we're eating contributes to free radicals in the body, not to mention the fact that most of the food that we're eating is laden with pesticides, and most of it is genetically modified now, and most of it is absorbing glyphosate or Roundup. So anyone who's eating oats and grains, prepare to have some potentially serious health problems. And all those problems lead to gut problems. And once you start having gut problems, that's just a short walk from there to having heart problems. And then you don't know what to do for our health anymore. We joke about this, the way that very prominent people in this country at one time recommended bleach and doing other things to kill the coronavirus, but people believed it. People started doing it. The Center for Disease Control put up a warning saying not to drink bleach and household cleaners. Don't gargle with that in order to prevent um, the coronavirus or to treat it, even though they were being told by powerful people in this country to do so. But as a result of all these things bombarding our body, these new diseases have come on the scene. These are new diseases, so-called new diseases since the 70s. They're not really new. They just have a new impact on us because the immune system can no longer handle this. Take, for example, look on the far right there, right after norovirus, you see MRSA. That used to stand for methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. The S is a very commonly known phrase, staph infection. Staph was just used to be just a routine thing. Even kids were getting staph infections in the hospital. But now you start talking about staph, people run for the hills. And it's no longer methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. Now it's multi-drug resistant Staphylococcus aureus. They only have maybe one or two different antibiotics now that might have an impact on MRSA. The immune system can no longer handle that. The immune system is mutated to such a degree that the human body can no longer just deal with something that used to be routine. The immune system is overwhelmed. C. diff and all kinds of other things now is creating enormous problems for humanity. The Spanish influenza killed some 50 million people, and now this COVID-19, they believe that it's going to be here to stay. It's no longer at the pandemic stage, it's endemic. So everybody just get used to it. More than 600,000 people have died in the US alone from this pandemic. And a big part of it was related to the fact that the immune system, once again, could not handle it. It was not responding properly to it. If the human body, if the immune system wasn't producing the proper antibodies at the correct level, then cytokine storm, the same thing that primarily killed those millions of people from the Spanish influenza, could also cause or contribute to a premature demise of someone infected with COVID-19. Short and simple, the immune system is the most important component in your entire body. It's the most important asset that you have. And in our interview of Dr. Prasad, he made it very, very clear, whether vaccinated or not, the immune system must be able to respond when called upon to deal with any kind of a virus or something that is foreign to the body that needs to be addressed. The body's defense system is incredibly, incredibly important. So what to do? How do we take care of our immune system? What steps should we take? There's so many confusing claims out there as to what to do about the immune system. There's been commercials on television that claim that Rice Krispies was good for the immune system. I will never forget this one commercial. I should play it for you. Well, actually, it's on my YouTube channel. So if you go to youtube.com/Jonathan Jones, a lot of folks still enjoy looking at that Rice Krispies commercial. I probably should shut it down because maybe people are getting the false impression from watching that recording that Rice Krispies is actually good for the immune system. I'm just here to tell you so that we can just put this to bed. that you will probably get more nutrition from eating the box that the Rice Krispies is in than from the cereal itself. That's probably more nutritious. Do not for 1 minute believe that eating a cereal like that is good for the immune system. The main reason is because it has no impact whatsoever on your body's glutathione levels. And glutathione was only within the last 40, 50, maybe 60 years or so that research has been done on what glutathione is. But it's the most important molecule in your entire body. And if you're not consuming something, if you're not taking something in your body that is promoting, building, and supporting your body's natural response to free radicals and toxins, then and raising glutathione levels, then you're doing nothing for your immune system. So that's where the target should be. That's where the focus should be. The focus should be on raising and elevating glutathione levels along with a variety of antioxidants to support it. Okay, so the combination is critically important. And that's kind of what our discussion is all about today. Because see, glutathione, don't go out and buy glutathione and think that it's going to raise your glutathione levels. It doesn't work that way. Your body needs to manufacture glutathione in order for it to be effective. And we do that by consuming the precursors. The precursors, you're looking at them on the screens: glutamic acid, cysteine, and glycine. Those are the three peptides that when combined together inside the cells cause a cell to manufacture glutathione. The one that's the most difficult to find is that cysteine. Glutamic acid and glycine, those are very common in our diet. But cysteine is all but missing from our diet. You get it from raw vegetables, cruciferous vegetables. You have to have a great deal of them, by the way, in order to really get a benefit to it or cause the body to make glutathione levels. So cysteine is very difficult to get. You can also get it from raw eggs and raw milk. Now, raw milk in this country is still illegal. So there's a few places that you can buy it. It costs about $10 a gallon, and you can't say that you're getting it for yourself. You have to go in there and tell them that you're buying it for your cat or something, because it's against the law for a person to sell it to you for known for human consumption. In fact, they raided some shops over in California. You can almost buy anything in California now. But the FDA shut down places that were selling raw milk for human consumptions. It's how big of a crime is it? Well, anyway, you'll go to jail for it. It's against the law. So one of the best places that you can buy the precursors or get the precursors for elevating glutathione levels is in a product like this called Microdaily. Microdaily has, among many other antioxidants in it, one of the components in Microdaily is cysteine. And you see a short list there of some of the ingredients in Microdaily. You see it off on the right there. I'm going to zoom in on just a couple of them so that you'll be able to, so we can just spotlight them. Here it is: alpha lipoic acid and N-acetylcysteine. Those are precursors for glutathione, the most powerful antioxidant in the body, and your body manufactures it. So because Microdaily has N-acetylcysteine and alpha lipoic acid in it, your body's manufacturing or making and sustaining elevated levels of glutathione. The brilliance of the scientists who developed this, formulated this, is in the fact that he put together the correct combination, the exact amounts that are needed to optimize the production of glutathione in the body. The same is true for vitamin A and beta carotene. They promote healthy skin. Vitamin E succinate. Out of all the vitamin E's that are on the market, it's vitamin E succinate that just happens to be cytotoxic to cancer cells, and it crosses the blood-brain barrier. So this is the best vitamin E out there. Dr. Prasad, the gentleman here, is the formulator for Microdaily. He didn't just put vitamin E succinate. By the way, he's the scientist who's credited with the discovery that vitamin E succinate is cytotoxic to cancer cells. He's the one who discovered it. He's the one that has the credit for that. World-renowned scientist. He's been published more than 250 times. He's authored at least 31 books, and he was a member of the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee. Brilliant man. We're very fortunate to be connected to him in any way, shape, or form and be able to receive any information from him. One of the many books that he publishes is this one, Fight Heart Disease with Vitamins and Antioxidants. Very technical, very scientific, but he is right on the money. The sum of this research has been captured in the products that he produces. So you can get all that research and gnarl it down right into a product like Micro Daily. So far, I haven't seen anything else like Micro Daily on the market that has the ability to do what Dr. Prasad has proven that it is capable of doing. These are just some of the patents that the United States government issued, and this was done in connection with, in consort with the United States government. You'll see that the second one there on the list is for, okay, hearing health. It's the 1, 2, 3, fourth one that is connected to pulmonary and heart health, and the fifth one. So there's three different patents that connect this product to heart health in some way. So the science is there and the evidence is there that proves, and these are all done in connection with various departments of the United States government. Now, this slide here says that there's 92,000 different articles written on glutathione and PubMed. It's well over 100,000 at this point. So I've got to update that figure. But if you go to PubMed.com and just search glutathione, and in fact, put glutathione and heart, and you'll see just how many articles are written showing that the connection between glutathione and heart health. And it's very simple. It's now packaged in a little bottle like this. The bottle has been updated, by the way. It says with CoQ10. All of the formulas have CoQ10. So this is really Micro Daily Original. And it used to be called Military Micronutrient Formulation. And this is just a brief summary of exactly what Micro Daily does for the body. Activates the body's cellular defense mechanism, increases the health and life of the body's cells, replenishes antioxidant levels to reduce or prevent oxidative damage. Now, those words, oxidative stress, oxidative damage, free radicals, they sound just like words, but listen to this. Oxidative stress and free radical damage is connected to every single disease in the body. If there's oxidative stress, if there's free radicals and free radical damage, that's what is connected to and causes all disease. So when you can reduce free radical damage, you can reduce oxidative stress, you are reducing the prevalence of disease. And notice this list right here in the physician's desk reference. This is just a short list of what the physician's desk reference. This is the list of all medical publications. And within that book, they state that these conditions are referred to as glutathione deficient states. But there was a study that was done, a PBS documentary done back in 2007. And I believe I have excerpts of it and possibly even the entire video on my YouTube channel. So you can go there and search for it or send me a note and I'll try to see if I can dig it up for you. But I know that there's at least excerpts of it there on my YouTube channel and possibly on my Facebook page. But it was called The Hidden Epidemic back in 2007. And in there, this cardiologist, world-renowned cardiologist, took information from the Framingham study, the longest running heart disease study in the world, right in Framingham, Massachusetts. And they determined that there are specific reasons for heart disease, and it's directly connected to inflammation and the immune system, or immune system function and dysfunction. What you're looking at here is a cross-section of a coronary artery. So those red things is like blood vessels flowing from left to right. The white thing, that's an immune system cell. All right, so that's a white blood cell, which is the immune system fighter cell. So you're looking at like a slice of the blood vessel, and those blood will be flowing from the left to the right. That plaque, the yellow goop there that the arrow is pointing to, that's plaque that builds up between the inner lining and outer lining of the coronary artery wall. The dark portion down there on the bottom, that's your coronary artery wall. That's the outer wall. The pink portion is the inner lining of the coronary artery. In between there is the buildup of plaque. They used to think that that plaque built up inside the inner lining of the coronary artery wall, but that's not what happens. It builds up in between. So as it builds up in between, the immune system is coming to the rescue because there's inflammation. The immune system says, wait a minute, there's inflammation here. Something is wrong. So now the immune system is trying to solve the problem. It starts running to the rescue. It begins to slip right in there where the plaque is because it's trying to do its job. So it's working down there, trying to gobble up that plaque, and it starts to pile up in between there. And the more white blood cells build up between the inner lining and outer lining of the artery wall, you see how it starts to bulge? As it starts to bulge, eventually a micro tear forms. And once that micro tear forms, the white blood cells start to ooze out. And what happens when white blood cells ooze out of an open wound? Yeah, it forms a clot. And if that clot is going toward the heart, what's that a recipe for? You got it, a heart attack. If that artery is heading toward the brain, what's that called? Yeah, a stroke. That's how clots form. Having a conversation with a what's that technician called that they do sonogram? Oh, sorry, sonogram technician. And her job was to, when ordered by a doctor, to perform these sonograms. So she was literally looking at a patient at one time, and she saw this very image that you're looking at right now. And she turns around and says to the doctor, oh my God, there's a clot right there. And by the time she turned around, this was live and in motion. This was real time. She turned around and the clot wasn't there anymore. She says, oh, it's gone. No sooner did the words come out of her mouth, it was gone, the person went into cardiac arrest. They did not survive. They were dead. So this actually happens. They just happen to now be able to actually see it much, much better and more clearly is exactly what's going on. So the cardiologist in this documentary said that once it starts in one place, it turns out the disease is everywhere. It's in multiple places throughout the heart. That's why you can hear of people getting double double bypass, quadruple bypass, heart surgery, because they find that once it starts in one place, there's multiple places where the same thing is taking place. It's a systemic issue. And the immune system, the cardiologist said, becomes part of the disease. So it's kind of depressing once you think about it, except that we need a strong immune system and a strong immune response. The way to resolve that is to keep glutathione levels high, because glutathione reduces inflammation. Because the lower the inflammation, the lower the bad cholesterol. And that's the other good thing about this, is that glutathione is very good at supporting and helping with the bad cholesterol. Because good cholesterol is literally, your body produces cholesterol as a sacrificial lamb for free radicals, by the way. So cholesterol is not necessarily a bad thing. Doctors will prescribe cholesterol lowering drugs in an attempt to try to keep you alive. In fact, in that very documentary, they talked about statins as being the panacea, the solution to this entire problem. But that's not really so. That's a band-aid for the problem. The real problem is free radicals. So what you need is for your body, your immune system, to be dealing with the free radicals. And that means keeping your glutathione levels nice and high. And that's why Dr. Prasad's book was so important, because he wrote about fighting heart disease with vitamins and antioxidants. And here it is. It's very simple. So this product right here, if you're here for the first time, you just get back with the person who invited you to this discussion, and they'll help you get Micro Daily. It has all the vitamins and minerals that you need to keep your immune response strong. But most importantly, you see in that proprietary blend section there is N-acetylcysteine, an alpha lipoic acid that will elevate and sustain your body's natural glutathione levels. But we're recommending that you, as good as the original formula is, this is the one that we highly recommend. It says the MTHFR, but now the new bottle says the methylated formula, because the methylated formula really does support and promote maximum absorption. You can't really tell much by looking at this screen here, but by the vitamin B12 and the folate or B9, those are the difference between this formula and the original formula. Your body can absorb these much better, and it's very much connected to your entire central nervous system, the myelin sheaths around your nerves, and hundreds of other things benefit from your being able to properly absorb vitamin B12 and B9 properly. So I highly recommend that you focus on this formula, the methylated formula. Get the purple bottle. It's only $10 more to go with this formula. It is, in my opinion, far superior in its formulation and development. But as I mentioned, the person who invites you to this discussion, they can help you set up your own subscription. And please just get a subscription. Don't pay retail. I just had a client just a couple of days ago. She sent a note in. She's about to have surgery. Her blood count was low, and she was asking for some suggestions as to what she could do to elevate or increase her blood count. So we gave her some recommendations, but she went to the website and she purchased the product full price. She was paying retail for it. So I'm so glad that the company sent us a notice about this new retail customer. So I was able to contact her and get her to call the company and change that retail purchase to a subscription so that she could get the discount on the product. It just doesn't make sense to pay full price when you can just get it at a discount. So enjoy that discount. And she was able to buy two because of the discount, and it only cost maybe about 40% more than what she was paying for a single bottle. And in her case, she needed more for the situation she was going to be dealing with anyway. Okay, so that kind of gives it to you in a nutshell exactly the connection between microdaily raising and sustaining glutathione levels to be able to deal with and help your body to fight something like heart disease. Now, the same basic principles apply to almost any health condition, but our focus today was on heart disease. And I'm going to back up again to what we discussed just a couple of weeks ago. If you're not doing something to improve your oral health, then prepare to remain in a very sickly condition. We are actually contributing to heart disease if we're not taking care of our mouth, if we're contributing to gut disease, if we're not taking care of our oral health. We're contributing to even brain problems. I read an article about, this goes back quite some years ago now, a young boy who needed some dental work, and he couldn't afford it, and the infection went to his brain and he died. So dental infection is serious, and statistically, everyone has some level of infection, oral infection, whether we know it or not. The majority of people have had at least one root canal, and that the infection that leads to root canal starts many times years before you even begin to feel pain, before it begins to manifest itself. So the simplest thing to do is to use peroxide, hydrogen peroxide, as your mouthwash. I highly recommend that you get a water pick and get the food grade peroxide. All it takes is a small amount, maybe just a dropper in the bin. You fill it up with a lukewarm water so you don't get the cold sensation in your mouth, and just put a little bit of that food grade peroxide in there, and you'll be amazed at the difference that it will make. It does work. Now, before we wrap up, I did want to give you a little bit of an update on what's going on with Novavax. I posted an article that was quite promising. Reuters has reported that the manufacturer Novavax for this particular vaccine has submitted application in Indonesia, Europe, and I also believe in Canada for authorization, approval as a vaccine for the coronavirus. And the article also indicated that they're they're expected to apply for FDA approval by the end of this year. And the reason why we're interested or, with Novavax is because there's a lot of folks that have been raising questions about getting a vaccine that had a technology that they were more familiar with. Even though many scientists are saying that the mRNA technology in the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccine are perfectly fine and perfectly safe and harmless, and that the Johnson and Johnson vaccine is perfectly safe and harmless. There's still some folks that are a little bit, squeamish about it, and they have expressed some concern. The one that we found so far that appears to be along the line of more traditional vaccine is this one Novavax. So it's not available here in the United States yet, but they are planning to submit for FDA approval by the end of this year. So it's very possible that sometime early next year that it may be available here. Many countries have already put in advance orders for Novavax. So I'll share a link for with all the articles that we found so far, but that is the latest information that we have so far. By the end of this year, they're applying for FDA approval. So who knows? Maybe we'll be able to drive to Canada if they'll let us in the country, if a person is unvaccinated, and be able to go over there to get the vaccine. But what I'm working on, for those who might be interested, is hopefully maybe one of the doctors as part of our team will be able to get some of the vaccine. And when they come down to Florida, maybe they'll be able to administer it to some folks here, or some will be able to travel to him or other places and get access to it. I don't know. So right now, that's kind of one of the things that we're working on. Okay, so we're going to pause here and take a couple of moments to field some of your questions. If you have any questions on what we discussed today, please feel free to raise those questions. And if you've had any positive results with Micro Daily in any way, shape, or form, we love to hear your stories. It's because those stories is what makes a difference in the lives of many people. And by the way, all testimonials are purely anecdotal. So when you hear testimonials, it doesn't mean it's going to happen to you. Testimonials are purely anecdotal. Results are atypical, and it may or may not happen. You and others may or may not get the same results. So that's why we share with you the patents. That's why we share with you the research. That's why we pass on information to you so that you can maybe take some of this information into consideration when you're making decisions about your health and well-being. Okay? All right, so let's pause. You can use the raise your hand feature to give a comment, or unmute yourself and speak up, whichever way you'd like, especially if something wasn't clear. Did my screen freeze on you guys? No, it doesn't look like my screen froze. Paige is waving or saying, or has a question, one or the other. Go ahead, please, Paige. Don't forget to unmute yourself, Paige. We cannot hear you.
Okay, here. Can you hear me?
There we go. Yes. Go ahead.
So, my mom was telling me about Micro Daily for, I think it's been almost a year now. I'm not sure, but I knew that I had a surgery. I had a surgery, and I was having problems with being tired all the time, insomnia, anxiety, just fatigued, unable to move around. And once I started taking that, it was almost like a miracle drug for me. I've always taken vitamins my whole life, so maybe and I was still taking vitamins. So I think that after a while, my body had built up maybe a resistance to the vitamins, and the combination that was in the Micro Daily was, I guess, the reset that I needed. Plus, it was really, really effective. It was able to help me go to sleep at night. It was able to help me wake up in the morning. I wasn't like stuck sleeping all day and then couldn't sleep all night. And it took away a lot of my anxiety and stress, or just helped me to manage my stress better. I felt at ease. So I really, really swear by these vitamins. So I'm looking forward to getting more information and hopefully being able to help other people out with them too.
Well, the story that you just shared is going to help a lot of people, Paige. We're not surprised that you got the results that you did, because when we try to explain to people that this is not a normal multivitamin,
Not
the
at all.
majority of the multivitamins that people are buying off the shelf, I hate to say it, it's pretty much garbage. Most of it is just, well, it's just not the highest quality source.
Right.
What Engage Global and Dr. Prasad have done is that they've put together the correct combination of vitamins and extracted it from the correct source. All of it's coming from natural sources at the highest quality. And so Dr. Prasad has proven that this combination is extremely powerful and beneficial. And I don't know which one you're using, if you're using the original formula, but I'm telling you now, you'll notice an even bigger difference if you go to the methylated formula, the purple bottle. I've noticed a difference. My energy level is through the roof, even higher than it was before, once I switched to the methylated formula. But thank you so
So
much for sharing your story.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for you guys coming out with this. I'm so glad my mom found it.
I'm happy she did too. Who's your mom, by the way?
Mila Robinson. I think she got them through Tess Jocasine.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, Tess
Wonderful.
invited me to the meeting today. Thank you, Tess.
Look at that. Tess really
Nice
cares
to hear
about
your
you.
experience. Okay, come on.
That
Thank
is
you for your
wonderful.
experience, Paige. Paige. Oh,
That is wonderful. Sonia Dizan has a question or a comment.
Yeah, I just want to ask about the methylated form. Right now, I'm taking. I switch sometimes the green bottle, micro daily, and the EMF. And so, how I know we can match it if we want to. So, if I want to try the methylated form, how should I take that?
Methylated formula is almost exactly the same as the original formula. 2 capsules is 2 capsules. 2 capsules of methylated is the same as 2 capsules of the original. So I personally take 4 capsules of the methylated in the morning, and I take 4 capsules later in the day. I used to think I could get away with just taking 2 and 2, but 2 capsules twice a day is the dose that a healthy person under 40
I
should be
see.
taking.
Okay.
So I'm knocking on 60, and I'm finding out that I need 4 and 4. That's what does it for me, no question about it. All the pains that I was experiencing are completely gone now. I don't have a pain in my
Oh,
toe. I don't have a pain in my knee anymore. I don't have a pain in my shoulder anymore. I don't have the pain in my back, my neck. I had 8
oh,
different
yeah.
places that I had pain. And once I increased to the right amount, I'm a whole new person now. So I highly recommend for those of us who have a little bit more miles on us, don't play around with those, those juvenile doses. Go with a, full grown dose.
Full
Okay.
grown. Okay, so do I just stick to the methylated and don't use the
No,
regular
no.
or EMF, or I
Yeah,
can
the EMF, listen, the EMF is fantastic. The EMF is for
yes.
dealing with the onslaught of 5G. Okay, so the EMF is the highest level. The EMF has the methylated B12 and the methylated B9, the folate in it. So the EMF has all of the technology in the methylated. It takes
Okay.
3 capsules of EMF to equal 2 of the methylated. Okay, 3 capsules of EMF is the same as 2 of the methylated. Okay, just because it has so many more ingredients in it. So if you're concerned about 5G, stick with the EMF. So you stick with
Okay.
that. But
All
instead of
right.
the original, the only time I'm saying make a change from the original to methylated. So whatever you're doing with the original, go to the methylated. And I also feel that way even about the hydro, because the hydro does not have the methylated B12 and the methylated B9. But if you are taking hydro, don't throw it out. Don't throw the original out. Don't get rid of it, because those are very good products.
Yeah, yeah.
But add methylated to it. So in other
Okay.
words, if you're taking
All
one
right.
original, now start taking one methylated along with it. So until you use up the original.
Okay. Okay, I'll
Okay,
do
so
that.
just add to it, okay?
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your question. I'm so glad you asked it.
Yes.
Go ahead, James.
My question is, you was mentioning about the methylatum. Would that help if I take that along with my CBD? Because I'm having pain in my left hip, and I've been taking the CBD for over 2 months.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely, James. Yeah, if you can, the CBD will definitely help reduce pain. That's one of its claims to fame for CBD. So I definitely want to do that. But you also want to take the methylated formula if you can, and as much as you can afford. So
Yeah.
if you can go to 3 twice a day, great. If you can afford that, go with that. Right? If you can go with, if all you can afford is 2 twice a day, take that. But the more of it you take, the better you're going to feel from it. Okay?
the methylatum.
Yes.
I haven't started taking that yet.
Yep. Jump on that one. If you've got that one, have you been taking the original?
Yeah, I've been taking the CBD, hydro, boost, eye boost.
Okay. Okay. So you're doing hydro. So what you want to do is order a bottle of the methylated, and every time you take a hydro, open up
Yeah.
1 capsule of the methylated and add it to the water.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So add that to what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay. You're very welcome. Thank you for your question. Catherine Robinson.
I just need to know on the peroxide, the food grade, it comes in 3 and 6%. Which would be the best to use, and how much water as opposed to the peroxide would be recommended?
Okay. Okay, that question has actually come up before, and I was supposed to contact somebody else about that, so I'm glad you're asking this question. If you were using the
Mhm.
regular standard hydrogen peroxide, that's the brown
Mhm.
bottle. That's I think it's
Mhm.
3% is what that one is. It's
Oh, okay.
it's 2/3 water, 1/3 peroxide.
Oh, okay.
So all it would take is just one teaspoon, 1 tablespoon of the peroxide, and maybe 2 tablespoons of high quality water. Mix that together, and that's your mouthwash. Now, if you're using that in your water pick, once again, just measure it, and that's how much you want to
Okay.
go with. The highest
2/3.
quality food grade peroxide is like 35%. That's very powerful. Make sure you dilute that. That's why you only want to use about a
Yeah.
dropper full in your tank of the water pick. So if you have a water pick, and I think it's like
Okay.
a quart or so, all you need is a dropper, and that's it. I use like
Okay.
I poured in the cap of my of the peroxide, the 35%.
Mhm.
I poured about 2/3 in that, and I put that inside the tank, and that's all it takes.
Okay. So when you say the brown bottle, like the ones we buy at the
Yeah, Walgreens. Yeah,
drugstore, is that considered food grade? Or be best to buy it at a health food store?
it has to say food grade.
Okay, all right.
So
Now I got it.
if it says food grade, great. But I'm told by some doctors
Okay.
that even that's okay. But Dr. Levy and Mercola both recommended the food grade peroxide. So that's the reason why I suggested the food grade peroxide. That's the one that I'm using. But I'm told that even that little brown bottle that you get at the drugstore, it's good for mouthwash. Just make sure you rinse your mouth afterwards.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Thank you. George Hunt has a question.
All right, it's Dario. On Wednesday, I'm going to this alternative health clinic to get a nutritional vitamin C, and at the end, they do it intravenously. And at the end, they push the glutathione in. The micro daily, it would be just as sufficient as if I would get that.
You say that they're going to push in glutathione, or they're going to push in N-acetylcysteine. You're going to get IV treatment of N-acetylcysteine.
Well, I'll have to ask that question. She just says it's glutathione. But I'll ask that question.
And you're getting that intravenously?
It drip,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, are you dealing with something like Parkinson's?
No, it's just, I don't want to take the flu shot. And so to beef up my immune system.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, you definitely want to raise your glutathione levels. But if they're giving you IV glutathione, I can't comment on that. That sounds, they've done it. I know that they've done it. They've done it for treating Parkinson's, and it does raise glutathione level. But I'll tell you this, it has a very short half-life. That's the only problem with it. It only lasts about 2 hours in the system, because they did a test on people with Parkinson's, and they gave them IV glutathione, and they were literally shaking, and the shaking stopped. But about 2 hours later, they went right back, because it served its purpose, but it only stays in the body for just a short period of time. If you want your glutathione levels to stay elevated for 12 hours at a time, Micro Daily will do that for you. It's got a 12-hour half-life. So I would recommend in your case, go with the methylated formula. And you may have about as many miles on you as I do. And if that's the case, you want to go with 4 capsules twice a day, every 12 hours. And your immune system will stay through the roof. But the IV vitamin C is powerful. You can't go wrong with that. It's expensive, but it's powerful.
Okay, without the glutathione, okay.
Yeah, I think that, in my personal opinion, I wouldn't spend the money on the glutathione. I would spend that money on Micro Daily.
Okay,
2 bottles. Okay, what you need is 2 bottles per month. So go on subscription and get 2 bottles of the methylated per month, and that'll give you the ability to take 4 capsules in the morning and 4 capsules in the evening. And your glutathione levels will stay elevated for 12 hours at a time. It won't just drop off a cliff.
thank you.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for your question. I'm glad you came. Okay, so there we have it, folks. That kind of gives you an idea of the power and the benefit of this product, Micro Daily. But listen carefully. We have toxins in our body. I'm just going to tell you my personal story. I called Dr. Nkuzi to tell him that something was going wrong. I started taking his lymphatic flush product again. I should have never stopped taking it, but what happened was I just, life happens, right? So as I'm doing the water pick and killing off massive amounts of bacteria, and I've elevated my Micro Daily, I'm thinking, okay, let me just go ahead and support my lymphatic system to make sure that I get everything out, especially during the time period that I wasn't exercising as much. And that was the other thing. Because we were moving, I wasn't exercising. So that was my replacement for that, was to get on the lymphatic flush protocol. So I started getting some swelling around my ankles and my feet. So I called Dr. Nkuzi and I says, listen, I think you gave me a bad batch of lymphatic flush. And of course, he laughed hysterically. Wasn't funny to me, but he laughed hysterically. He said, it's not a bad batch, it's doing what it's supposed to do. When I explained to him what was happening with the bacteria, he said, if you're getting swelling, he says, your body is detoxing all kinds of metals. And he says, guess what? Those bacteria are running for their life. He said, they're running, and guess what they're carrying with them? All kinds of metals, aluminum, everything else that we've eaten, your body's absorbing. It's especially if you're eating things that was packaged in aluminum, that is a real problem in our history. And if you've had any kind of fillings metals, metals, metals. And I have one crown that's metal. So I think he's going to want me to have that taken out. But anyway, I'm saying all that to say that your body will detox. You will go through detox. Drink plenty of water. Add some form of exercise to your life. Statistics have shown that walking 7,000 steps a day decreases mortality by 70%. Do you understand that? That means we have a chance of living longer or not dying prematurely if we just add 7,000 steps a day to your program. So what I normally will do is I'll get up in the morning and I'll get about 4,000 steps in the morning, and then throughout the rest of the day, I'll get the other 3,000 steps in. So put yourself on a program where you're getting about 7,000 steps in per day. Studies have shown it, 70% decrease in mortality. You live a little longer just by not being sedentary. Get out and walk. And if walking is not your thing, get yourself a trampoline. If you're afraid of a trampoline, sit on something and bounce. You want gravity working in your favor. If you can't do any of that, amerixbio.com and get on the lymphatic flush protocol. amerixbio.com, get on lymphatic flush. And all you do is, I had to drop it down. I started out on the full dose, which was, I think that's what overwhelmed my whole body. So I can only take now 3 drops 2 or 3 times a day. And that stopped me from going through this horrible detox I was going through. Okay, so expect to detox on Micro Daily, and expect to detox once you're killing bacteria in your mouth. Peroxide is going to kill a bacteria at a level that you've never experienced before. It's going to go to a whole different level. Go ahead, James, please, with your question or comment.
With me, I can't do no walking because I'm in a wheelchair. But I have a exercise bike. Can I use that regularly?
Absolutely, absolutely. Any kind of movement. It's this sitting down and being
Yeah.
on a computer all day. It's the couch potato that's going to kill us. It's the couch potato that's going to kill us. Okay, so movement. We have to move. We're engineered to move. So get whatever movement we can get in. If all you can move is that finger, get that finger moving.
Yeah.
Anything,
Okay.
anything to help the lymphatic system get along. But short of that, Dr. Nakuzi's lymphatic flush protocol is the next best thing for those who can't, get in as much exercise as they want. Okay, so we're going to probably have some kind of a Black Friday special on the lymphatic flush product later this month. So just keep an eye out. If you're not, looks like I'm frozen. Okay, maybe I'm unfreezing now. Hold on. Okay, maybe I'm unfreezing now.
Yeah.
But get in the WhatsApp chat group. If you're not in there, if you are in the WhatsApp chat group, add your guests and your clients to the WhatsApp chat group, because they'll get the coupons. So if there is going to be, there are going to be some Black Friday coupons coming out this month. So look out for those. Okay. The Vax RX is still on special. So you can go to the website. You can get that as well, along with the Immune RX. Those 2 things, very powerful immune system support. Okay, folks, this is going to bring our discussion to an end. Once again, it's been my pleasure and privilege to have been your host and moderator for today. For the record, my name is Jonathan Jones, and it is Sunday, November the 7th, 2021. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. I am not a medical doctor. Do not do what I say. Do not follow my instructions. I highly recommend that you go and speak to your doctor. This information is for educational purposes only. For those of you who are interested in the business, stick around, and we're going to have a 6-minute and 45-second business meeting in just a couple moments. Okay, everyone else, thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.